The room was packed, the kind of electric buzz that fills the air when people sense something big is about to happen. Reporters were shoulder to shoulder, cameras flashing, and the sound of shuffling papers and whispered questions echoed across the marble walls of the press hall. It was supposed to be just another press briefing, routine, predictable, almost dull. But that day, the atmosphere would be anything but ordinary. Senator John Kennedy stood calmly at the podium, his trademark charm and disarming humor lighting up the room as he addressed issues of national concern. His voice, slow and deliberate, carried the weight of someone who had lived through struggles and seen both sides of life, the polished halls of power and the rough edges of rural America. People listened not because he shouted, but because he spoke like someone who still believed in common sense. And then it happened. From the middle of the press corps, a voice cut through the air like a blade. A young liberal journalist, well-dressed and brimming with arrogance, stood up with a smug smirk plastered across his face. His name was Michael Caine, a reporter known more for chasing sensational headlines than for pursuing truth. He adjusted his glasses, cleared his throat, and asked the question that would ignite the fire. "Senator Kennedy," he sneered, "many people believe you're nothing more than an outdated relic of the past, a man with old-fashioned ideas who lacks the education or sophistication to deal with the modern world. Isn't it true that you hide behind folksy one-liners because you don't actually understand the issues?" The room fell silent. Some gasped. Others chuckled nervously, waiting to see what Kennedy would do. For a moment, John Kennedy didn't say a word. He simply looked at the young man, his eyes steady, his expression unreadable. Everyone expected a sharp retort, maybe even anger. But instead, Kennedy leaned slightly on the podium, took a breath, and smiled faintly. "Son," Kennedy began slowly, his Louisiana drawl carrying warmth instead of hostility, "where I come from, we don't measure a man by how many big words he can throw around. We measure him by how he treats the people who can do nothing for him. And I can tell you one thing, you don't need a PhD to know the difference between right and wrong." The crowd shifted uneasily. The journalist, however, wasn't finished. "Spare us the Southern charm, Senator," Michael shot back. "We're talking about policy, not morality plays. The world is run on intellect, not corny stories." Kennedy tilted his head, almost amused. He knew this wasn't just a question, it was an attempt to humiliate him, to paint him as uneducated and unworthy. And for a man who had spent his whole life proving doubters wrong, this was familiar ground. He leaned closer to the microphone. "You think I don't understand policy?" he asked softly, his voice carrying more weight than a shout ever could. "Let me tell you about understandin'.